Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome to. Is it? Wait, let me. Right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the last session of our all the streaming topics here today, and of course, again, our last session is about data science and also machine learning. And the topic is actually data science, the story of it, and also a demo by Rishi Nigam. Without further ado, let us welcome Rishi to give us a talk. All right, take it over.
Hi guys. I'll just be like telling about data science and what you think about data science is what might be data science would be. So just a small intro about myself. Like I'm Rishi. I'm studying masters in University Malay right now, and I'm doing like a research assistant at UM, and I have like 2.5 years of experience in other domains like Java, automation, manual testing, and I love to participate in hackathons. Feel free to drop an email and LinkedIn. You have my account here. Okay, so if anyone can answer like how many languages do you need to know to communicate with the rest of the world? Any guesses? Any answers? Any guesses? Okay, so the answer is pretty simple. You just need one and your smartphone to communicate with the whole world. Okay, so again, be smart and try to be simple. There is no need to be like you have to do multiple tasks or multiple things from to get story from the data. Nothing like that. Or what is the data gonna tell you the story or what you want to have perform in the end. Okay, not anything much serious. Just keep simple things simple and it will automatically start working in what you want to achieve. Okay. Okay, so the simple question is what is data science? So data science is not like you need to know maths, you need to know Python, you need to be a hardcore coder or anything like that. No, data science is something which you need to get information from the data. Now, irrespective of whatever the data is it structured, is it unstructured, it is semi-structured, or whatever it is. It's just to get information from the data and get the result done. For example, we'll see the demo. Okay, the main story of data science is that you need to have a basic question which you want the data to be answered. Okay, for example, let's say that data, if I ask you, let's say will be using Titanic data. So if I ask you that if I place you on Titanic ship right now, I know it's sink, but if you go back in the time and if I place you over that time, will you be able to survive the catastrophe which happened? And you need to have some data to prove this answers, because if I say yes I will be able to save myself, that's like an absurd answer. But there has to be some reason and some solutions. So that's what data science mainly does. Okay, so this is like a overview of what a data scientist or a data person does. Okay. Okay, the whole story of data science goes around simple tasks like programming, and then you do some data, get some data, and then you apply some statistics and probability. Then you apply machine learning, and then you also do some of the development tools as well as the big data problems and big data solutions. Okay, so moving forward is like what a data science actually do. So you would be thinking like, okay, this would be like my friends think that I think about binary numbers all the time or some other stuff. So again, what the company thinks, what every other person think is totally different from what a actual data science person does. Data science is nothing like you get some data and not like generate some magic. Yes, to generate those magic, that magic person is the data scientist. Okay, so obviously you have to have a domain knowledge, you have to have some Python coding or any whichever language scripting you like, and then yes, you have to visualize the result. So yes, you have to show the result. Okay, so a simple pipeline, if I would say, pipeline is nothing just like from point A to point B, how you travel between point A to point B. Okay, so first and foremost is like understand the problem. and the domain, like where is the problem happening. For example, recommendation system. Why do I need recommendation system? What is a recommendation system? What will be the benefit of the recommendation system? Okay, yes, you totally understand all this stuff, but how is the recommendation gonna help the business? That's the major aim when you look for B2B or B2C. Now B2B means business to business, B2C is business to customer. So you need to classify those problems and understand like where and which places are these things gonna be implied, which problem is your solution gonna resolve. Okay, so the same thing. So you understand the problem, you pinpoint the problem, and then you have the problem in your mind. And then what you do, you start collecting the data, obviously. Once you're done with collecting the data, the best task is not the best task, the hectic task is to clean and process the data. Like, try to get maximum input, maximum details out in the data from during the cleaning. And like, being a data scientist as myself, I would be like, okay, trying to understand more what type of data is answering my problem statements. Not like just using the data like whatever some random person or some of my boss or some of my friends have given it to me, I have to process it and just try to get some information from it. No, not that's not the data scientist. Okay, so you clean and process the data, and after that you perform some EDA, that is like exploratory data analysis, and then you do feature engineering and all the funky stuff which everyone talks about. Okay, and then obviously you're gonna analyze and predict it, or you will be like classifying or whatever is answering your problem statement. That's what a data scientist actually do. So answer the question, what is the problem? That's the only base rule of a data scientist. Okay. Okay, so going a bit deep in data science for all the high school students is nothing. You need to focus on the maths which you are being taught, or which would be coming in the coming up years. You need to focus more on those mathematics. That's the major thing which would be useful as a data scientist. Okay. Okay, so empowering management and officers to make better decision. Yes, this is what you want to do as a data scientist. Better decision, better results, better business, everything better, right? But how is that done? That is like these are the some 8 steps which a data science person generally uses. Okay. Okay, so moving forward, now how to do data science? How you will, being a high school student in the coming years or in the coming few months, you want to take up data science, let's say. Okay, the first thing is, I'm not gonna push everyone over here to move to data science anything. I'm more here to explain you why and how a data scientist would be useful for any company, let's say XYZ, ABC, whatever company it is. If I give you, if a data scientist is given some problem, only then he can get some solution. So if there is no problem, if there is nothing required right now, there's no point of you doing data science. Until or unless a data scientist or a problem exists, there only the scientist for the data will come into picture. Okay. Okay, so some numbers like 40% complex formulas, consumer psychology is 25%, business acumen is 25%, programming language is 10%. Okay, so this is like a data scientist, a well-to-do data scientist. Again, there is urgent need because the skill is very much less in the companies if you see right now. Okay, uh, the impact is really much because whatever problem you're going to resolve will be directly impacting the business itself. Hence, the requirement of data science is required. Now, how to be a, or I should say, how a high school student would be becoming a data scientist, let's say 5 years, 3 years, or whatever target you guys have set. So, first thing and foremost is focus on mathematics, or focus on algorithms, or focus on how the approach to a problem. That's the major step required. Not just like crunching some algorithm from online, copy pasting the code, running it. Yes, that's really good that you're getting a hands on experience. That is really appreciated. But in the long run, after, let's say after this first day hack is over, after that, how are you going to progress? That's something which you must think in these, in this week, in this duration itself. Like, think like, okay, I want to do data science in my future in my life. So I'll be looking into what type of data, which type of things interest me. Is it computer vision? It is natural language processing? Is it time series? Is it something else? Or whatever interests you, do that. That's the foremost and the best answer I could give you to become a successful data scientist. Okay. The second thing I would say is start liking maths. So if you start liking maths, then you will start liking the code which you are going to write to to generate or to perform those activities. Okay. So after this second step is in progress. In the meanwhile, start learning the coding whichever you like. Is it R, SAS, SPSS, Python, or even a simple tool or Veka or any tool whichever you feel like. Okay. Once this is done, then you can move forward with the fourth part. Now, grouping all these three things together. Now, when you start grouping things, then you will start to understand how a pipeline will work. And many companies and most of the companies use pipeline to perform all these activities. So you think like point A is now and point B is your reaching phase. And then you start visualizing yourself, okay, these are the things I want as a data scientist. And by the end of the target whichever you have, you will become like a data scientist. This is what a path of a data scientist will work around. Okay. Okay, so moving forward a bit more like image to show you like how this works. So I'll just explain very briefly, and then we'll go in bit more detail. Like business question, like I said, there has to be a question to answer. Then there will be like technical hypothesis, like whatever are the hypothesis means whatever the rules are, whatever you guys think is like by technicality is correct, then you go ahead. Then you do the data ingestion, data analysis, and the data preparation. And there's a follow back again. If there is the analysis is not answering your business question, you have to go back again and perform the data ingestion. Later, as everyone knows, modeling will come into picture, and then you follow up with a prototype, then you create evaluation, then you start integrating it, and then you get the feedbacks. Now, this feedback can be divided into two pictures, like either it can go to technical hypothesis is correct or not, whether this data is able to get you the result or not, or again you have to feedback to the modeling that no, the evaluation is not good, the model is not performing well, and then you come back again. So this is the whole life cycle of a of a business, how a data scientist would work around. Okay. Okay, so we'll do a demo, and the demo would be more on a simple data set. If you guys have any question, feel free to let me know. And also the questionnaire will be done in the last, so it's totally up to you guys. Okay, so a simple example we'll be looking into is Titanic dataset. Okay, so Titanic dataset is is nothing you need, is a very basic as well as a very fundamental level of showing you how a data scientist works, or what theories would you be applying on a data science, or on a data which is like Titanic dataset. Okay, again, don't worry about this. What is tag versus score splits comparison, what is ROC curve, what is density, what's the score. Don't worry about all this like sensitivity, specificity. This is all like higher level when you start going deeper in how to make story from the data. That's all. Okay. Now, as simple as that, like everyone uses Google Colab, and I'm going to use Python mainly. So I have the dataset already downloaded. So, and I use Kaggle is the best place to get the dataset, which is generally and mostly it's clean from Kaggle to perform any data science stuff or perform any competition. Kaggle is the best place to get ahead. Okay, so I have loaded the file. I have taken up like get the head to just display what's in the CSV file, which is like train.csv, and then I just do .info. Now this info gives me like, okay, I have passenger ID, I have survived, I have P class, I have name, sex, age, and all the other parameters and whatever columns I have present inside. Okay, now this gives me the total amount, total length of the objects present inside. Okay, now these are the data types like integer 64, float 64, and that means 64 bit of float values. Okay, integer like 64 bits of integer values. Okay, so from this initial observation, we noticed that from 891 passenger records, 714 have valid ages, 204 have cabin records, and two embarkments are missing. Okay, so some data is also missing. Now, what do we do is we start going to describe. Like, okay, give me a description of all the uh, all the columns. Okay, so let's say that I have already created like survived, p class, age, and fare. So this is like a count. Like count is like total length, mean, standard deviation, minimum 25%, 50%, 75%, and the maximum. Okay, now the question comes why. That is like, what's the survival rate by class, sex, and age? What about combining these factors? Was the fare the same for men and women? What fraction of the passengers embarked on each boat? Is there a difference in their survival rates? Is the presence of a family member a good indicator for survival? So all these questions will be answered using this data. Now don't worry about the code. I just wanted to show you that, yeah, code is important to get the result, but try to understand like what's happening in this set of code. So let's say there is a class 1. I guess I need to change the theme, I guess. mm, okay, I guess it's visible. So let's say that there's a sex equal male and sex is female. This is class 1, this is class 2. So the blue says 0 and orange says survived 1. Okay, so you see, age is it age a factor for surviving? Yes, it might be, it might not be. For class 2, is the survived with comparison to fair? Is it not? Okay, okay. So all this you can visualize it using simple Python codes. Don't worry about that. Now what you understand is like women have much higher survival rate, especially in first and second class. If you go back to the graph, so women have much more uh, surviving rate as compared to the male. Obviously, everyone gives preference to the female. Yes, I agree. Especially in the first and second, it seems to that children have a higher survival rate. Yes, everyone knows that everyone is, first of all, given preference to the children. But specifically in first and second, let's find out the survival rate by class, sex, and age range. Now, this is just to show that the survived by class is the 65%, 47%, 23%. This is just like, you can just say like you're grouping them based on the mean. Now, this is the simple maths which a person would be using to to get the more information from the data itself. Okay, like you can say 0.7547 is like the survived people by sex, and child and adult is this much. Okay, now we'll just plot a simple graph: survival rate by age range, survival rate by sex, and survival by class. So you have classes, you have your male, female, and you have child and adult, and this shows the survival rate. So as expected, since we have all watched the rating movie, the first class has survival rate than the second class, which has a higher survival rate than the third, and women have children have a higher chance of survival than men and adults respectively. Okay, this is just, you're just changing the data. In the near future would be required as categorical data, so you're just grouping it in different formats. Okay, so yes, now okay, this again some other EDA, exploratory data analysis you have performed on the data and get the result. Okay, don't worry about that graph. So applying a machine learning, obviously you want to do some machine learning, otherwise there's no fun of data science, right? Okay, so what you did is, let's go to, okay, so I am just gonna talk about logistic regressions CV. Now, what is this? This is just another machine learning model which generally is used to classify between a zero or to get a consistent result. That means when you use this logistic regression, it is majorly like, okay, it's divided into two words, logistic and regression. So if I ask you what's logistic, well, what logical value is? Logical value is 0, 1, right? So regression means what? Regression is something which you get a consistent results or a continuous result, that is called as a regression. So from 0 to 1 you get some results. Okay, good, you got some result, you got, and now you will be like when to use this, when not to use this. So that all will you will come to know when you learn more about machine learning, supervised, unsupervised, semi supervised, all that you will come to know more and more in the later stages. Okay, so again, now we want to calculate like what's the people are gonna be like explanation, sorry, survival or not. So this is just a simple array or simple result showing that what's the survival of the people from the Titanic. That's the only result I was able to display to you right now. Okay, this is just a simple understanding of what a data science person does and how he gets story as well as beautiful graphs to show to the business or to show to the end product people to get more results, that yes, this process is better. That's why it is so hyped up right now. Okay, so yeah, let's go to, and you can ask me questions. Let me know if there are any questions. I'll just stop sharing my screen.
Right. Ooh, okay, the mirror effect.
Sorry.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's okay. So yeah, once again, thanks Rishi for
Yep.
the data science talk. So we do have a few questions here,
Yep.
from also our own team. The first one is actually from Lin Chunjet. Is could you recommend any of us here, like any platform or online material to study for data
um,
science?
See, particularly if you want to learn data science, I am saying just Google whatever you want. Okay, but that's like a vast place to start. Then you can start with Udemy courses, but especially look for those who talk more about the maths behind it. Not just like use this model, use that model, and then you'll get the results. Don't do like that. Also, start reading some books which are like from O'Reilly. It's really good. And once you start reading, start practicing it. Start application right after you learn it or after you understand it. It would be much more easier. Yeah.
I see, I see. But for like for example, you mentioned about O'Reilly books. Do you have like personal favorite about data science?
Sorry.
Do you have any of your personal favorites when you talk about
Personal,
books?
if you ask me, like there's a book from NLP, majorly for natural language processing, like which I prefer reading. It's from a publisher called PACKT Packet, and I'll share the details about it.
Cool, cool, cool.
There's also like I post on GitHub also the code as well as my learning as well as people who are just new to the field, so they can follow my GitHub link. I'll share that too with you also so that you can share with everyone. And yes, if coming back to machine learning and hands-on, so yeah, I just follow this book which I kind of like it a lot. I'll just show it to you guys. Yeah, so this is the book which I kind of like reading it.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I know this is a basic book, but it's pretty fun when you get to understand each small things. That's pretty fun. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So yeah, I think if you guys have any more of the link, do you want any more of the links? You can actually message Rishi in
Yeah.
Discord, general. And the next question is
Hmm.
by Kiefer. Is actually, does data science work heavily with AI tools?
What do you mean by the AI tools? As in,
Yeah, yeah. Maybe Kiefer, you wanna elaborate on your question on that?
okay,
Uh,
if you are thinking right now that no, you will be designing every model by scratch and then performing and applying. In the market right now, if you would have known that AWS is really pushing their own models, their own SageMaker, they have like really well to do. Like Auto ML is really well to do in that field. So you need to know what's happening. They have already implemented it, and you need to know how to use it. So that's one thing, which it's not like data science always focus on the tools. No, it's majorly on the data part, because it's data science. It's not AI. It's not artificial intelligence. It's more on the data part to answer that problem. That's the major thing.
Cool, cool.
Yeah.
Right. One final question is from Jitesh. What
Mhm.
is the future for data science in the world right now?
Okay. If you ask about future, you must be specific with the future. Is it like 2 years? Is it like 5 years? Okay. So if you say 2 years, present in the market, most of the people are using all the services which are provided. There's very few companies which look for their own solutions. Like, I mean, not solutions, I mean their own scratch model building or scratch model generation. So yeah, in the next 2 years, you must like for a high school student, it's like more like you understand what it is, not like it will this domain will fail after 5 years of experience. No, there's always growth. So there's like, for example, I would say there's Hugging Faces, which is really a good place if you want to know more about natural language processing. And computer vision, everyone knows it's like going all the way up only. So yeah, it's a good place to start.
How about
Yeah.
5 years and beyond? What do you think?
For the 5 year, if you would say, yeah, it would more become, it won't be like data science only, it will become more on the neural network part also. So that means like you have to like think actual like a human brain. Like you need like think yourself answering or getting the problem resolved. That's one way of seeing data science in the future. That means that if I have learned alphabets in my small age, I am able to talk in English right now. So that's that level of knowledge a neuron must have.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. I think that's all the questions we have for this session. Once again, thank you, Rishi, for speaking last session here. And if you guys have any questions for Rishi, feel free to message him on Discord. He is kind of always online as well, which is a good thing. Message him if you have any more like things that you want to ask about a much more technical part. You can actually also message Rishi as well on Discord. So yeah, that's the end of our session. And of course, before we end this, we might have some of the more impromptu sessions by First Day Hack. So be sure to stay tuned. Yeah, and we might have games as well because we
Yeah.
have mini prizes coming. All right. Thanks
Okay.
again, everyone. Bye.